guys, we're looking at a big light today with a big umbrella. Not that one, but a newer one. Like that. This is the HB80C. It is an RGB light, big light, lots of power, lots of options for color. There's not a color, I think, in the rainbow anywhere in the spectrum that you can't get with this light. And we'll go over the modes here in a bit, but let's get into this light and the umbrella that it came with. I call it an umbrella, Softbox. Again, if you're new here, I know you're just coming by to take a look at this light and this umbrella before you purchase it, maybe on Amazon or wherever, but please have a chance to second the like and subscribe. No one really does that, so it really helps out a lot if you do that. To take 2 seconds, I appreciate it. Thank you. So what this basically is something like what I have here, and I'll show you what that looks like, what I have right from Xiaomi, but in a more compact package. So this is the box that it comes in, and then this is what it comes with here. Nice little carrying case. So we'll go ahead and open this up. Again, this is sent to me for review, but my honest opinion totally. And basically, how does the light work? What function does it have? What does it do? How much does it cost? You have a long cord, USB-C to USB-C, very long cord. You have a nice tripod, which kicks out like this. And the head will rotate like that. So nice tripod adapter. The cone, so this is the light itself. It has this diffuser cap on it, right there. To turn it on, you have USB-C for charging back here, and then you just one switch and it'll come on. And then we can get into, all the different colors. But we'll go over here, the menu here in a second. But on the back here is where you have your fan. On back here, you have all your menu, your mode button, temperature. You can tell the temperature of the unit. So when it gets too hot, you can kind of check it out. You have the fan back here where you can lower the fan. And then you have all your controls and ways to set up different modes. And we'll go over these modes here in a bit. It kind of gives you a lot of different options. It kind of be a little overwhelming at the beginning if you never used one of these before. But there are some setups where it's kind of like pre-set up, where it's kind of like, here's a good idea what you should use for this type of lighting environment. And then it gets to, if you're more professional, you know what you're doing, you can get into the X and the Y spectrum and really hone in the exact color of your light in the shade. All right, this is what it looks like. Very small, very compact. Let's go over some of the specs and how long it will last, all that kind of fun stuff. So with this light, Kelvin-wise, 2500 to 7500 Kelvin. You have HSI and RGB CWXY lighting, gel mode. You have bi-directional charging. The battery advertises it'll last 70 minutes in regular mode. I'm sure if you turn it up to 100%, the time will diminish on how long it will last, like anything. But regular mode, you're looking at like 70 minutes long. So that's a long time on just a battery charge. I would think if you're doing something that long, you'll start adding like power to it, of course. There are 18 specialty scenes. A lot of these lights today, RGB lights, all have those specialty things like fireworks and TV and stuff like that. So if you're doing some type of movie or set and you want to have a special effect of sorts, you can use this light for that. Now, a lot of lights I've used before have that, but they're kind of smaller. So this will be a more dynamic and a more better effect when you have a larger, more powerful light. USB-C fast charging. With fast charging, you can charge this box up within 2 hours. All right, so let's go over the modes and what they do each, and then we'll come back and we'll open up the Softbox and we'll set it up here and show you what it looks like. All right, the first mode that we're going to go over is kind of like your basic mode here. Your intensity, how bright it is, and what Kelvin you want. Very simple. Not really dealing with colors, more dealing with the brightness of the light itself. But that is your intensity. And to move around, you would hit this button right here. It makes it move around from selection up with inside of this little menu here. So this is a GM compression, and I'll show you what that is on the screen. I had to look that up, but there's different ways to adjust, again, fine tune the Kelvin that you're using. And intensity, how bright you want the light, and then below that is your Kelvin. So you can see where it says 50, and there's a 00K next to it. So 5,000 Kelvin, 4900. I normally use in lighting in the studio, 5600. That's about what I use right there. All right, now we're getting into some of the colors, the intensity and the hue. I'm going to adjust my intensity down again because I want to overheat it. And then the hue of the light. So again, it's at 355, so I can just dial that down. You can see the colors change and go through the different colors of the rainbow. You can do it this way, or you can, many other ways you can do it, but that's changing the hue directly right on this mode here. The S right here is for the saturation level. So if you want to bring down that green, you can bring it all the way down, I think almost to white again. There you go. These are effects. There are, I think, 18, not mistaken. Yeah, there are 18 different effects. So lightning, like someone's taking a paparazzi taking pictures, like fireworks going off. It's also to music. So if you're like, have music in the background, so when you see how I'm talking, it's making the light flash different colors. I could sing hello. All right, so next up is the light source mode. So there are a whole bunch of different light source options you can choose from, and it kind of tells you your Kelvin level on the side here. You got your intensity right there, but these are all different ones that you can choose from. I could run through the list for you. So like sunrise is at 1800 Kelvin, and it goes to candlelight, dawn, daylight, cloudy, moonlight, blue sky, incandescent, video. There's 15 different type of light sources. Cool things to play with if you're getting into lighting and you're trying to figure out, all right, what's my environment lighting, and then maybe I'll try this setup and see what it looks like. Now we're going to get into the gels. So there's two set of gels on here. There's Lee mode and Roscoe. So the Lee mode is originally polyester gel, while Roscoe is super gel. Leading manufacturers of color filters or gels for theatrical and filming lighting. The main differences are in their construction and manufacturing process. Lee filters primarily use surface-coated polyester, while Roscoe main filters are deep-dyed, extruded polycarbonate. Basically, if you're really into Roscoe and Lee and the different type of gels you put over lights in movie production, but if you're the average Joe like me, you can look at the colors on the rainbow here, and then you can scroll to the light you're thinking about you want to produce, like a blue like that. And then you can adjust the intensity within that and go back to the different gels. And then Lee has different shades of those colors. That is Lee and Roscoe, different easy ways to quickly find a color that you're interested in producing. X and Y. X and Y, here we go. This is more, I think you're more professional at this point. If you're looking at the XY on a graph, I'll show you what that graph looks like. But if you know the exact color on the XY scale that you want to produce, you can go here and finely tune your color. All right, this is the RGB CW mode. Right here, you adjust your intensity, your whites, your reds, your greens, your blues, all be dialed in here. So that's the way you normally like to do your lights, is how much red and how much blue and how much green. Then you could go here and have fun all day and fine tune your lights again. Don't let this all confuse you. Too many modes, right? If you don't know exactly what you want, you just want a basic color, then use some of the other different modes a little easier to kind of adjust your lights. Now you can do this whole thing on your phone through your app. So take a quick look at that. Adding the light to my phone. These are some other lights I already have, but this is the light here. And if I want to, I could turn the light off, turn the light back on again. So this is really quick and easy way. If you know the exact Kelvin you want, again, I like the 5600 is what I like. And then you can control some of the GM part right there. You can go into curves. So you can go into linear curve, S curve. You can pick, again, all the different sources of light. All the thing on the menu on here, you can do on your phone, even easier. HSI, RBG, the gels, you can roll through. And then you can pick your colors here, which is a nice, easy way to find the color you want. And then you can fine tune the brightness within the app. Your XY, there's your XY scale. You can use your thumb and kind of move it around and adjust the light a lot faster than it is on the device itself, very much so. Picker. So picker is basically using your camera to focus on a light source. So if you have a person's dress, duplicate their dress in the background, you want that exact pink or whatever it is, you can do something like that. So let's try with the green here, select it, and then boom, it matches the green right there. And then from there, you can even fine tune and adjust the saturation and the brightness. There's your RGB fine tune it yourself. FX, all your special effects. So let's talk about here the fan on the back here. There are different modes. Right at the top corner, you can see your mode change. What that does for you is this. This mode here is silent mode. That silent mode gives you 40 watts of power. Normal mode is 65 watts of power. I bet you have to plug it in to get boost mode. All right, I wanted to show you the boosted mode. So two things you gotta have. You gotta have 100 watts of output. And this plug right here, this side is 100 watts. And then I'm using the cord that came with it. I tried a different cord like this. It's too small, it doesn't work. Use the cord that it comes with, plug it in, and then you can see, watch the difference in power. There, and then we put switches to boosted. For the fan, that is the boosted. Let's go ahead and check out the Softbox. So this is a honeycomb that it comes with, kind of like what I have on that one right there. And look how small that package is. Very small. I've already kind of set it up. It comes with 2 diffusers, one internal inside and one farther to the outside. It's up to you of how you want to set this thing up, but this is kind of what it looks like. Very small Bowen mount here at the bottom. This plate comes with it and attaches to your light source here. And it's like opening an umbrella. There's a little grab handle right here. You can pop that. Put a little muscle into it, and then there you go. I'm going to set it up right here. We'll get some color going on me, kind of improve this look, and let's go for it. There we go. All right, so let's use the phone to change the color. And we have a yellow. Now, maybe some pink. How about red? That's more of a brighter pink. So I'm gonna go to the hue. Then I have this dial here where I can really play around with my hue. And blue. Something like that. Depending on what you want to do with your lighting source, I like a little bit of red for Halloween or whatever you're doing. But all said and done, this is the RGB light from Neewer, the HB80C. So check it out in the links below if you're interested. Any questions about this light, let me know. Great on the go or in the studio light that you may want to pick up. This one I have here from Xiaomi is great, but it's stationary. It stays in the studio, doesn't leave just because it needs power all the time. This one has a lot more different options I can play with for color. This one doesn't do color, but this one can just go with me anywhere on the prompt to and get your shot. If you want just a white light, it does that. If you want colors, it does that. So, and it's portable. I mean, what more can you ask for? And it's bright as heck. And you can make it really bright if you put it in boosted mode with the right equipment, with 100 watt power output. Also, I mentioned, I did say bi-directional power. This light can charge your phone or even charge your camera on the go. So if you forget or your batteries run out in your camera, but you have the light, but you're not using it, or it's got power left, plug it into your light bad boy here and charge up your camera and then save the day. It could save the day. All right. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.